Welcome to Fatter Wallet's Book Summaries. Today, we're diving into a book with a pretty bold claim, The Richest Man Who Ever Lived. It says the ultimate secrets to success and wealth were actually figured out like 3,000 years ago. So let's see what this is all about.
I mean, just think about that for a second. What if the playbook for getting rich and being successful today was already written by King Solomon? You know, a guy whose fortune, adjusted for today, might have made him a trillionaire. It's a pretty wild thought, right?
So, okay, how can we possibly know if this ancient wisdom still holds up? Well, the proof is in the story of the author himself, Stephen K. Scott. And get this, he wasn't some business prodigy. In his own words, he was a total, hopeless corporate failure. And when I say failure, I mean, look at this turnaround. It is absolutely staggering. He went from losing 9 jobs in just 6 years to building more than a dozen multi-million-dollar companies. His income? It jumped from 18 grand a year to over 7 million. It's the kind of transformation that almost sounds made up.
So, what was the big secret? What flipped the switch for him? It was actually something incredibly simple. A friend challenged him to read one chapter from the biblical Book of Proverbs every single day. That's it. That one little habit became the single turning point for his entire life. Now, as he kept up this daily reading, Scott started to realize that Solomon's wisdom wasn't just a bunch of nice-sounding quotes. Nope, it was a practical, actionable code for success. And he boiled it all down to 3 essential keys that he says are the foundation for, well, everything he ever achieved. All right, key number 1 is diligence. But hold on, this isn't just about grinding or working yourself to the bone. It's about working smart. Scott calls it a skill, a mix of creative persistence and a really well-planned effort, all aimed at getting the absolute best result you can. And this quote right here just nails it. True diligence isn't just effort. It's about creating a strategic advantage. It's about having a plan that's so thought out and so effective that it gives you an almost unbeatable edge in whatever you're doing. Key number 2 is vision. And let's be clear, we are not talking about some fuzzy, I hope to be successful someday kind of dream. For Solomon, a vision is a practical, super detailed roadmap. It's a precise goal with a clear plan and a firm deadline to get you there. In fact, Scott turned this idea into a tool you can actually use, called the vision mapping process. See, you start with the big dream. Then you break it down into specific goals, then smaller steps, then tiny individual tasks. And finally, you put dates on everything. Suddenly, that huge dream becomes a totally achievable day-by-day project. And honestly, the stakes couldn't be higher. This proverb says that without that clear, mapped-out vision, we perish. We lose our way, our motivation, our passion. That vision, it's the power source. It's the fuel that drives everything forward. Okay, and the third and final key is what Scott calls effective partnering. Think of this one as the great accelerator. The idea is simple. Nobody, and I mean nobody, achieves anything truly extraordinary all by themselves. It's all about strategically seeking out advice from mentors, experts, and wise counselors. This piece of ancient wisdom totally reframes how we think about asking for help, doesn't it? It's not a weakness, it's a critical strategy. Getting good advice from the start doesn't just help you succeed, it actively prevents your plans from getting frustrated and failing. So we've seen how these 3 keys completely changed one man's life. But here's where the book makes its biggest point. These aren't just good tips that worked for one guy. The claim is that they are universal laws of living that apply to every single one of us, even today. Here's a great way to think about it. It's like an airplane. The laws of aerodynamics and gravity are real whether you believe in them or not, right? You can work with those laws to fly, or you can ignore them and stay stuck on the ground. The book argues Solomon's principles for life work in exactly the same way. And what's the payoff for working with these laws? Well, the book promises some pretty incredible rewards. And it's not just about money and career success. It's about building real confidence, having great relationships, and ultimately living a life that feels truly meaningful. It's the whole package. And to really drive this point home, Scott is brutally honest about his own screw-ups. He talks about 3 different times when he got arrogant and ignored Solomon's advice. And he lost millions of dollars every single time. It's a powerful reminder that these aren't just nice ideas. Ignoring them has real, painful consequences.
So, as we wrap this up, the real question isn't just whether these ancient keys work. It's which one are you gonna use first? Will it be the smart working power of diligence, the clear roadmap of a powerful vision, or the amazing leverage you get from partnering? Something to think about. This is Fatter Lawlets.